I'm on the move in 6 of the greatest cities of the world, and I'm on the trail of their top movers and shakers. They're not all cut from the same cloth.
In our globalized world, don't make the mistake of thinking everywhere's now the same. Each great city marches to its own tune. My background's diplomacy, cultivating networks. As an ambassador, my job's to get to know some of the most powerful people in the world and find out what really makes them tick. Crime, glamour, power, and influence. It'll all be there. In these 6 cities, I'll grapple with the dark, Machiavellian heart of politics. I'll witness, up close, the lives of the immensely rich. And I'll get into the minds of those who really rule the roost. This is a journey to uncover the networks of power. Mumbai, India, previously known as Bombay. This is one of the world's greatest cities, and somewhere I barely know at all.
Welcome to Mumbai, sir.
It's great to be here.
Yes, thank you, sir.
And your name is Parag.
Yes, my name is Parag. I am the shopper for the day.
Tell me, what is this car?
It's an ambassador car.
I'm rather chuffed, for obvious reasons, to be in the famous Hindustan ambassador car. But it doesn't exactly look on trend today.
Mostly the VIP people use this car.
So everybody's going to think I'm a VIP.
Yes, why not?
I was last here in the 1980s, and since then, the population has doubled. Close to twice London's numbers squeeze into 1/3 of its space. Most live in slums, but this one city contributes a staggering 40% of India's tax revenue. That's not just down to a lot of people, it's a lot of extraordinarily rich people and some of the world's most successful businesses. The skyline may not yet quite be Manhattan, but the property prices certainly are. I'm staying right by the Gateway of India, the city's most famous monument. This is the legendary Taj Palace Hotel. Admittedly, by staying here, I'm rather pampered. But having the right address will, I hope, also help me open the doors to Mumbai's elite. And I'm pleased to see everyone who's anyone stays here when in town.
Talk about power. They're all here. Queen, Prince Charles, Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Mick Jagger, John and Yoko. And in Pride of Place, the biggest picture of them all, Shobha Day, whom I'm off to see, all more alluring and glamorous for sitting on a swing.
I've got some quick homework to do on Shobha, Mumbai's equivalent, if that were possible, of Tina Brown, Julie Cooper, Joanna Lumley and Nigella in one. Model, best-selling author, columnist, magazine editor and top socialite. She's my ideal first port of call and the acknowledged queen of ritzy South Mumbai.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Day. How
Good to
are
see
you?
you. Welcome to Mumbai. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
India.
You
Great
live
pleasure.
here in a wonderful place.
I used to write looking at the sea here,
Yes.
and I couldn't write more than 3 sentences a
Yes.
day because I'd look at the mood of the sea, the tide coming in, all of that. And of course, the changing skyline, the building activity, which is frantic in Mumbai.
Last time I was here, and the only time I was here, was 25 years ago. I need help and navigation. What can you do for me?
You have come to the right woman because I'm a true blue Mumbaikar. I'm very much a Mumbai mulgi, as they say, a girl from the city. It's electrifying, it's scary, it's sinister. It's all the things that great cities should be.
With this huge development of Mumbai, has a new breed of power brokers come to town? Is there a kind of divide between the new people and the older and more traditional people?
New money versus old money, well, there's much more new money than there is old money. This is something that's hard to come to terms with. All the nouveau riche who are there flashing their labels, flashing their cars, flashing a lot of bling. But we have come to kind of accept it as part of change. And there's no point getting stuffy about it. Mumbai is a magnet, and it is a city which provides the most fantastic opportunities. It's almost like a Bollywood script. You can become a billionaire in one generation.
What I want to do is to plunge myself into the bubble. How do I get in?
I'll tell you what I can do. I mean, I do have a few wonderful friends, and I could make a few calls and see how it goes. I think you're a nice guy. I don't think there'll be a problem. Mumbai has a tremendously generous spirit, and I have some really fine friends.
They may not be billionaire businessmen or Bollywood stars, but the countless millions on the Mumbai streets do have a real say. India is far and away the world's biggest democracy. I'm not going to get plain talking from any politician, but the man I'm off to see now is famous for calling a spade a spade. Very loudly indeed.
How sincere is this attempt? Your part, you asked for the question.
Let me ask you a counter question.
No, don't ask me.
There is no finality.
One minute.
Meet Arnab Goswami, sort of India's shoutier
Enemy. Last question to Prashant Bhushan.
axeman, renowned for calling the powerful to account.
Thank you, all of you, for joining me on News Hour Debate 1 tonight.
Sir, how are you?
How are you?
I can't get up because I'm all wired
all
up.
wired up.
Let me get up and shake your hand at the break.
You sounded very passionate.
Yeah.
A very passionate debate.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a superb. You see, this debate sets the agenda strongly.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, Indians by nature are very argumentative and passionate people. Yeah. And more at the 9 o'clock slot nowadays, people are moving away from watching soaps to watching the news. And this change has happened through the last 4 or 5 years as we've been broadcasting.
Do you know what your viewership is?
I mean, the show has a reach of anywhere between, I would say, 25 to 30 million every night.
Impressive.
So I'm going to go back.
Okay.
You watch the next.
Yeah.
Omar Abdullah was the first to condemn the terror strike on one of his top ministers, but it is...
Arnab's been at it at this level for an hour and a half, and it's not even his day job.
How are we taking that story forward on Kashmir? We should force a reaction from the government on it. This is on what?
He's also editor-in-chief of the Times Now channel. I was determined to extend his day still further over a quiet drink. Well, a drink anyway.
In Mumbai, power is defined by your business clout, your financial clout. The richest people in Mumbai weren't born the richest. You find 1,000 rags to riches stories. And I'm telling you, each one of those people out there actually believes that he or she can make it big tomorrow. You see, when you look around this city here today, and you look at the people who live in those apartments, each of which cost 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 million rupees a piece, the fact of the matter is 90% of those people are self-made people. And I can tell you 99% of the people who you find on the streets believe they can get there.
I mean, I've arrived from a depressed country in a depressed continent where people are not very optimistic about the future. You have described a very optimistic picture. How far will Mumbai be in 25 years' time? Is this a constant upward curve?
I don't think I'm being overly optimistic, but consider this. Just before doing the TV show, we said, oh my God, we are so upset because we might just hit only 7.5% growth. That answers your question.
I take your point.
Yeah. If this country averages this kind of growth, does it have the workforce? It does. Is there entrepreneurship? It's growing meteorically. Has this city changed? It has. So the future is when you come here 25 years from now, then you will find probably in this vicinity 25 other buildings as tall as this one. Simply put, I think 25 years from now, Mumbai will inevitably be one of the greatest financial centers of the world, because the Indian economy could outpace the Chinese economy as the world's greatest economy. And I wish when you come 25 years from now, you're going to have to say that I told you first.
Arguably, it's because of people like Arnab, championing freedom of speech in a free society, that I'd back India in the big coming global race with China. Tomorrow I try to meet one of those who has truly made it, one of Mumbai's famous billionaires. And I also get to meet the biggest star in the world. Sunday is race day in Mumbai, and a good place to try to hobnob with the city's high rollers. They've been racing here for almost as long as the derby's been run at Epsom. And today's race card includes one of the 4 classics of the Royal Western Indian Turf Club, the 2000 Guineas. Though I'm completely clueless about horses, I'd better have a flutter.
Excuse me, 500 rupees on Cardinal to win. Thank you.
That's £6.50, resting on the outcome of the big race. Shobha Day had come good on her promise of a warm welcome from her well-heeled, powerful friends. This is Ada and Natasha Poonawalla. They'd invited me to their family box. The Poonawalla's wealth comes from pharmaceuticals, but their passion is bloodstock, and I'd chosen my horse with care.
There we go.
They're about to start now. Which one have you bet on?
500 on Cardinal to win.
Oh, that's,
How about that? As a statement of faith, isn't it?
yeah, that's bred by us, so let's...
I know. We're off. Yep, there we go.
The bad news was I was 500 rupees down. The good news was that Natasha and Ada introduced me to the Poonawalla patriarch, Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla.
Here I am.
Hi, let me introduce you to my father.
It's a great honor to meet you.
Should we go to the box?
Poonawalla Sr. started out with just $12,000 that he raised by selling horses. He's now worth $3 billion and is one of India's richest men. He runs the country's top biotech company, selling the world's lowest price vaccines in 140 countries.
I don't know about the power because I generally don't like to misuse power unless one has to do it in an exceptional case. But what I like most about Bombay is the warmth of the people. You can walk in somebody's party almost uninvited and feel welcome.
And do you think the explosion in prosperity here, the creation of new mighty moguls of Mumbai, hasn't started to corrode the spirit, this shaking of hands?
No, it's because these billionaires, including myself, are self-made men. And we know what it was to be at the bottom of the rack. So, since we are not some aristocratic family guys that, would like to keep their nose up in the air, we would be very down to earth. Beyond that, Mumbai's got a tremendous potential to have more billionaires than any one city in the world. But as long as they don't misuse that power.
Do you worry that there's a great gulf opening up between those who are extremely wealthy and those at the bottom of the ladder?
Yes, it is a very worrying thing, and what worries me is that it shouldn't lead to a revolution.
It could be a revolution.
It could ultimately, but at the moment the Hindus are very passive people, and as long as the rich and famous, don't overstep themselves and behave themselves, I think we are all right for the next century.
There's one thing ordinary people in Mumbai dream of even more than becoming a billionaire, and that's making it in Bollywood. As Mumbai Sunday draws to a close, one of its most popular malls is about to host its greatest celebrity. It's a mark of my complete ignorance that I'd barely heard of Shah Rukh Khan before I arrived in India.
Good evening, everyone.
But put quite simply, Shah Rukh is the biggest star in the world. Shah Rukh is universally known as the King of Bollywood. Many more people have heard of him than Tom Cruise, and his audience is far bigger. Today, the king is accompanied by Bollywood's leading lady, former Miss World, Priyanka Chopra. They're strutting their stuff to launch the computer game which accompanies their new movie, the gangster action flick, Don 2.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here.
The great news is that Don 2 publicity machine have promised me a private audience in Bollywood tomorrow with the man himself. I've got some revision to do overnight to pass as an entertainment reporter.
I'm lucky to get out of that in one piece. I've been stamped on, I've been kicked, I've been pinched, I've been elbowed, I've been pushed aside. I've never seen anything like it. Politicians would kill their grandmothers to get adulation like that.
I'm just a big fan, sir.
Sir? Call me Don.
Shah Rukh's people told me to be sure to report to his studios at 12 noon sharp.
So this is Bollywood. Doesn't look like much, does it?
This is the biggest film production centre in the world. At Film City, countless movies shoot simultaneously. I'd mugged up on Bollywood as much as I could, but it would be fair to say I was some way short of being an expert.
Hi, how do you do? He's in charge of doing the set, is he?
No. He's the...
He's a hero! Oh my God! I'm sorry. Can I shake your hand again?
That was Ranbir Kapoor, and a bit like not recognizing Brad Pitt. Things weren't looking too promising for my meeting with the king, and it also looked like I had the entire Bollywood media pack for company.
The plan seems to be this. Everybody from the press gets 15 minutes each, and that includes us. But actually, no one's got a clue how this is going to work out.
If power is measured by how long you keep people waiting, Shah Rukh Khan is in a league of his own.
That's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
And if he ever turns up, it's power I want to talk about. Politics, money, force. That, traditionalists argue, is where real clout lies. But Shah Rukh can influence billions worldwide. That's not just soft power, it's the real thing.
We've just been told it's 10 minutes. That's the 5th time.
He's in fact now been coming in 10 minutes for a full 7.5 hours, almost enough time to fly from Mumbai to London. Let's say I've had a while to rehearse my moves.
There he is. Mr. Khan, good evening. I'm Christopher Mayer from London. And before we go any further, can I give you a little gift?
Thank you.
Which is all the classic English Ealing comedies from the 40s and the 50s.
Fantastic.
Long before you were born, but they're quite amusing. Perfect entertainment for you. We've got this chair for you here.
I'm not sure what he'll make of them. Bollywood's a long way from Ealing, and Alec Guinness doesn't burst into song in The Lady Killers.
Okay. What I'd want to talk to you is about power. Are you the most famous, the biggest movie actor in the world?
When I read it, and if it is written like this, I feel very happy to know that. Or even to believe that at times. I won't deny the fact that when people say that X amount of eyeballs watch my films, even if it is because every 4th or 5th person in the world is from the subcontinent, so that gives you an advantage. The advantage of having an overpopulated country. Now that you say this to me, I've become even more desperate. I'll go and work harder the next 2 hours because you mentioned this just in case they stop calling me the king.
Well, I don't want you to suffer from overwork, but I was very struck to see in such an august publication as Newsweek that you were considered by them to be among the 50 most powerful people in the world.
I don't know, is it because of my work or is it because of the rest of the world now looks towards India as a rising economy, as a, I truly believe when an economy is doing well, the first thing that you notice about it are the films and the culture. Like I haven't bought that Newsweek.
So you don't have it at home?
I don't have it at
physically
home, but I have the time cover, yes. I want to frame it and keep it, yes.
Well, your children would like to see it as well, wouldn't they?
My kids preferred the mother being on Vogue more than me being on the Time magazine, actually, to tell you the truth.
It may be the size of his audience that makes King Khan the biggest star in the world. But his power's about much more than numbers, and it might just help save the world. Shah Rukh is a Muslim, and though the mullahs ban his films, he has a huge following outside India, in Pakistan, and the Muslim world. If the Taliban and violent Islamism are to be defeated, it won't be because of Western politicians or their armies. It'll be because ordinary people dream of a more tolerant and attractive way to live.
Would it be putting too much of a burden on you as an artist to say that you also stand for tolerance? You are a Muslim. I believe your wife is Hindu. You have an exemplary life together. You set an example to the world.
Yeah, and the scary part is that people don't know my personal life. I'm hardly a role model. I don't tell my kids to study. I have no restrictions and censorship on them. I'm like, you can follow the religion of your choice. I'm not going to burden you with my Islam or the wife's Hinduism. I think lack of knowledge leads to intolerance. I was brought up in an atmosphere which is multicultural, so I have been introduced to the Bible. I'm Muslim by birth, so I know the Quran. I've been brought up by Hindus, so I know the Gita and the Ramayana. So somewhere down the line, the knowledge, not the full knowledge, makes me very tolerant. In India especially, it's very important. I think the world also requires this kind of tolerance. Otherwise, I think for a very, very simple mistake of not educating ourselves, we will be at each other's throats for the rest of our lives.
Hard by Mumbai's now derelict Royal Opera House, you'll find the city's most tight-knit, secretive network of power. It's one that arguably trumps even Bollywood in terms of global reach and glamour, though you'd hardly guess it from first appearances. Everyone in these jam-packed streets and buildings works in the same industry.
Excuse me. Thank you.
They all hail from the same two Gujarati villages.
You can go inside and on the right. The office on the right.
They are all traders in the world's most desirable, easiest to pocket commodity.
Hello. God almighty. Are you selling millions of pounds of diamonds? Yeah?
Mumbai's diamond network supplies the world, and every deal is sealed with nothing but a handshake.
So you all trust each other?
100%.
Yes. 100%. Okay, and you have no security here at all, do you?
This is security.
That's your security, yeah?
Yeah, that's 100% on trust base.
100% on trust base.
Regardless of where they're mined, 11 out of 12 of the world's diamonds are cut, polished and processed in India. The industry employs 850,000 people. And increasingly, Mumbai's opera house traders are chipping away the former dominance of Antwerp, Tel Aviv, New York and London. Almost everyone down in this crowd is a diamond dealer, with discreet cargoes in little packets about their person. But I'm lucky enough to have an invitation from one of the big boys up there. Firestone Diamonds CEO is Nishal Modi.
Mr. Modi, how are you?
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here. Great pleasure. Thanks. Goodness me.
You can see all of South Bombay from here.
Well, beautiful as it is, I have a feeling there's something more beautiful on this table. Could you talk me through this?
Sure. This is rough diamonds.
Nishal offered me something very special, something few outsiders witness, the chance to sit in on a potential deal with an Israeli diamond buyer.
Customers waiting outside.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Show me from the cushions, please.
Sure.
Thank you. How much it will cost me this time?
Because you're coming to the office and it's Christopher's first deal, We're going to make you a special price. 22,000 a carat.
22,000 times 5.01. It's 110. I think I paid a little bit less last time.
No, but the color is much better than last time. Don't look at the certificate, look at the stone. Anyways, you're making money off me.
I will be ready to give you 19,000 a carat. Is that fair enough?
Check the stone one more time.
Michel, I really want to do the business, but really I'm offering you a fair price compared to what I bought last time. I increase, I like the stone, I like the make better, but I think I'm offering a fair price.
What is the final price you can offer me? You're going to come back to me again.
I'm always happy with what you supply me. Okay, you know what you do? You give me your hand, okay? And I will give you 20,000, but this is a really final offer.
20,500.
20,000 and give me Mazar Michel, let's make it, and I'm a normal, regular.
20,500.
20,000, 250 we cut in the middle. Mazar.
Okay, Mazar.
That was neat and swift. But how much was the deal worth?
What's the total value?
5.3, about $110,000 US dollar.
Okay, well, that's quite a lot of diamonds. What interested me in that deal was you clearly had done lots of deals together. If you were strangers to each other, how would it work?
Difficult,
You would not be working with strangers.
You wouldn't even have him in this
I
office?
wouldn't have him in
No,
this
this is
office.
definitely
He wouldn't
no.
probably be in the building. He wouldn't probably make it to the street.
Firestone's Opera House office is strictly trade only. If you're in the market to buy some ready-to-wear rocks, you head for their stunning showrooms. I'm meeting Nishal's elder brother, Nirav Modi. And happily enough, my arrival coincided with a photo shoot for his latest collection.
When we talk about high-value diamonds, what's their value?
These are two pear shapes.
Two pear
shapes. They weigh 2 grams each.
2 grams each?
And you're holding $2 million in your hands now.
Oh, makes me... How long does this process of cutting take?
3 to 4 months.
What?
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility on the cutter.
Yeah.
So one mistake and it's...
It's worth zero.
It's worth zero?
Yeah, because it can blow up into smithereens.
Do you ever lose diamonds like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you break down the market for us? What percentage sells in India? What percentage sells abroad?
I would say today, 50-50. 3-4 years ago, it was zero India.
Zero India?
Zero India. I didn't sell anything. And I'm moving all production to Bombay. So we have necklaces which we have sold for $10 million. Very important jewelry, made in Bombay and sold in India.
I'm beginning to realize that Mumbai's extraordinary diamond business is about the most integrated network of power you can find.
Many of us have come from a very small village in Gujarat, anywhere from 60 years to 20 years ago. When I came here at the age of 19, I was earning a salary of $100. I worked for my uncle. He taught me the trade. They knew who my father was, they knew who my grandfather was, who my relatives were, and who vouched for me. And I was doing millions of dollars of business when I had very little.
And this is where the importance of the single Gujarati village comes in, because if you're from there, your word is your bond.
Absolutely. And to break a word in this business, it's the worst thing that you can do.
Sadly for my wife, I left Firestone Diamonds empty-handed. It was time to leave the rich, glamorous set behind and head into a very different city. Well, it would be, if it wasn't for Mumbai's habitual gridlock.
Isn't it going to be faster for me to take a rickshaw?
No problem. You cannot move in the traffic. It's better to take a rickshaw. Sir.
1 in 10 people here live on less than 25p a day. Even Mumbai's average daily wage is less than a fiver. But don't think the poor here are powerless. Collectively, they have real muscle. And one genuine source of power, flourishing here in contrast, say, to back home in Britain, are the unions.
रोज की मारी होती हैं। आप लोगों को पता चलना चाहिए कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीटर कम से कम 5 से 6 हज़ार में आएगा और ये बोलते हैं कि आप लोग मीटर फास्ट करते हो करके हमको इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीटर लगाना है.
This is a branch meeting of the Mumbai Auto Rickshawmen's Union. Their leader is Shashank Rao.
Mumbai Auto Rickshawmen's Union!
Sharad Rao! Mumbai Auto Rickshawmen's Union!
Mr. Rao.
Yeah, hi.
A terrific speech, but I didn't understand a word. So what was it about?
All these meters on the auto rickshaws are manual.
Yeah, they're old-fashioned looking.
Old-fashioned, yeah. But they work very well. There is no problem to it. But what the government wants to do is get in electronic meters. Under the pretext saying that these can't be tampered with.
And these chaps don't want that.
Okay, it is going to cost us more.
Yeah.
And it is not tamper-proof.
You're clearly, I've now seen it with my own eyes, a brilliant speaker. I was watching these men and they were hanging on your every word. So you have a lot of power here. Do you think this is power which you're using for the benefit of the members of your union, or do you also include the traveling public in this as well?
See, we do. They are our customers. If we don't treat them well, if we cheat with them, they will not use our services.
Yeah. So your ultimate sanction is to go on strike.
Strike is our last resort. These people have to earn their livelihood.
So it's a big power you have here, actually.
And at the same time, this workforce is also a big voter group.
And of course, the voters are not just them, but their families as well. So how many voters do you think you can mobilize behind your...
At least 25 lakh voters we can mobilize behind us.
Yeah. That's 2.5 million votes he's talking about. And surely here, among those with relatively little, I'll finally find the politics of envy.
Everybody is optimistic. Maybe they're saying that because I'm a foreigner, maybe not, but they sincerely seem to be very optimistic about the future of Mumbai. Are you an optimistic man as well?
Yeah, as far as optimism is concerned, see, all these people who have come from different villages across India, they come to Mumbai with a hope. On hope we live, and we believe in the leadership of Mr. Sharad Rao. They believe in his leadership. And in the coming days, the demands that we have will be fulfilled.
The Sharad Rao to whom Shashank refers is his own father, and one of the most powerful trade union bosses in all India. Here, it's not just the business moguls who construct family dynasties. No one in India gets overly hung up about nepotism. Mr. Rao Sr. is currently languishing in hospital with dengue fever, but he's determined I don't leave Mumbai without exploring the power of the many, not the few.
I do hope you're feeling much better, and I assume that you're being well looked after here, because aren't many of these people your members?
I'm a leader of these hospital employees. About 1,400 employees are there. It's a great service to the people.
So, if you're president of all these organizations, do you consider yourself a powerful man?
Yes, funny thing is I'll tell you, we control from birth to date. That is, every birth that takes place in a city has to be recorded by my union members. Every death that takes in the city, that is to be recorded by my members. We control the cemeteries also. There have been occasions we have threatened the chief minister of the state that you can't die unless I record that you are dead.
But do you worry that in Mumbai today, the gap between the rich and the poor is growing, unacceptably so?
I do envisage that in coming days there will be a revolt. I believe in this, because the disparity that you are talking of is a tremendous disparity. I may be alive or not alive, but I believe it is going to be an uprising.
Despite Sharad Rao's predictions of revolt, I don't see any signs of it yet on the Mumbai streets. That has to be good news for India's richest woman, whom I get to meet next. This is the recently built, world-famous Antilia house. It's the most expensive private residence on Earth and has been valued at $2 billion, though you'd barely guess at street level. It supposedly has 3 helipads, a staff of 600, and its floor area is allegedly greater than the Palace of Versailles. It houses India's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, his wife, and 3 children. Shobha Dey had told me all about it earlier in my stay.
Well, I went to the housewarming party. It is a spectacular building by any standards.
How many stories?
27 for one family, not bad. But I see it as a landmark. I've called it the modern-day Taj Mahal. And I have seen clumps of people from across India and Mumbaikars themselves who stand across the footpath clicking pictures.
Antilia has, as you might expect, come in for a bit of flack for its opulence. So I'm not surprised its doors remain closed to me. But the great news is, thanks to Shobha Dey, her good friend Nita, Mukesh's wife, has agreed to meet. Mukesh Ambani, in 2007 the world's richest man, runs Reliance Industries, India's largest private sector company, which has a stake in countless fields. Nita Ambani is a qualified teacher and spends much of her time running this new school. She founded it to honor Mukesh's father, Dhirubhai Ambani. His is the emblematic rags to riches story, one-time petrol pump attendant who went on to own the refinery.
Welcome to our school.
What a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Ambani.
So can I show you part of my school?
Yes. Can I take a closer look at that?
Sure. It's a lovely picture. It represents...
Nita's school is one of the best in India, but it's no charity. In fact, parents' evenings may be the best networking opportunity in town. Even Shah Rukh Khan sends his kids here.
Yes, I think our school is a joyous place. Everybody's smiling here.
When people look at you and your husband and say, these are among the wealthiest people in the world, how do you reconcile yourself with this enormous privilege of having so much money, if I can put it crudely like that?
I don't think wealth has really been our aim or ambition. For Mukesh, it has been a passion to create reliance, to generate employment. And for me, it has always been the soft power that has always driven me.
Now, you're obviously an extremely focused, driving, ambitious lady who does not like to have obstacles in her path.
That's my description at all.
But I'm sure, I mean, nobody without drive and enterprise and initiative, you couldn't have created something like this.
You know, my work has been very distinct from Reliance. From the very beginning, I was brought up in equality, and it only came with a rider that give your best in whatever you do.
I had a conversation with Dr. Cyrus Poonawalla, who went to the races, and he said that he was so worried about the gap between the rich and the poor that he thought that unless something was done about it, in due course, Mumbai might find itself, and these were his words, in a revolutionary situation. Have you ever taken such a dramatic view of what might go wrong?
In the world that I deal with, where I see young children coming in from all sections of the society, I'm very optimistic.
I'm going to ask you, because I can't leave Mumbai without doing it, one question about your house, but I hope you will feel that it's not prying into your private life. And if you don't want to answer it, don't answer it. It's a stunning piece of work. Some people have said, well, it's the 21st century Taj Mahal.
For Mukesh and myself, it is the only home that we have in the whole world.
It's the only one you own in the whole
Yes.
world? Really?
Yes.
But sometimes in the middle of the night, do you think, well, people are making these comparisons with a great mogul, a symbol of ancient Indian power.
Not at all. I just want the home to be not a house, but a home for my children.
Do you consider yourselves the modern moguls
No.
of Mumbai?
No.
The modern mighty moguls of Mumbai?
Not at
No?
all.
No?
Not at all. My life is so far removed from all that.
Whatever her protestations, I think Nita Ambani does deserve to be called a mogul. Very few people out here, in the Victorian heart of old Bombay, will end up in the mogul set. It's that set, for good or ill, who are nonetheless setting the tone of an era every bit as much as their forebears. This remains a staggeringly unequal society. But wealth and opportunity do more than trickle down. And the fairy tale story of the rich and famous seems to inspire rather than breed resentment among ordinary people.
You know, Mumbai, with its boundless optimism and its can-do spirit, it's a bit like New York 120 years ago, which attracted people from all over the world and gave them the hope that they could rise from absolute poverty to prosperity within a generation. Is that the real power of this great city?
It's my last night in Mumbai, and I've been invited to a wedding at one of the big gymkhanas on Marine Drive. This isn't a billionaire's Nisa. Dimple and Vikeshji are the children of Mumbai gold traders, middle class, I suppose you'd call them. So this is a simple wedding for just 2,000 or so of their closest friends and family. Even so, it makes a big fat gypsy wedding look an exercise in austerity.
She's my sister's sister-in-law.
She's your sister's sister-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they basically belong to a gold family.
Gold family?
Yeah.
So two gold families.
Two gold family meeting together.
And it makes a bigger gold family.
Bigger gold family.
Bigger gold business.
I think I'm the only guest here who feels that the soundtrack to the bridal couple's grandiose entrance is somewhat odd. But maybe it's a mark of New India's energy and vigour that no one knows or cares this is Rule Britannia. It's just a good, rousing tune to go up the aisle to. There are some who worry that India is losing something of its soul as it modernizes. I think that's patronizing. But more than that, it's completely wrong. I really don't have anything but good wishes and a rather sad bunch of flowers to offer the happy couple. They've got a future as golden as the trade and the city they're in.
Greetings and good wishes from London.
It seems to me that Mumbai demonstrates that India is growing, taking its rightful place as a power of the first order.
I wish you much happiness. I hope all goes well.
And doing it its own way, from which we could learn a good deal.